Well, hello, friends. Welcome back. Happy Wine and Dine almost. Um, Here for another event guide breakdown. Um, Hope to get this out a little sooner, but been a little under the weather, so I figured you wouldn't want to hear me coughing and whatnot while I do this, but still getting over that a little bit. But anyways, moving along into the Wine and Dine event guide. Now, this year they did kind of seemingly release this a bit earlier than normal. Usually we're about 2, maybe 3 weeks out that we get it, which we're just under 2 weeks to the weekend as of today. But they kind of released it like a month, if not more, out, which was a little early compared to previous years. But hey, we'll take it. So, anyways, let's get started. Now, as always, the event guide welcome page, kind of just, basic stuff. Adam Ball, Run Disney Vice President, and of also Wide World of Sports and water parks. Welcoming you to the weekend. Also just notes that the celebrated charity for the weekend is Second Harvest Food Bank. They have been the celebrated charity for Wine and Dine for quite a while now. Always a big deal when we try to help out local Orlando, Florida area charities and stuff like that. Like when you register, you are able to give an extra donation towards a charity. I believe to the Run Disney always makes a contribution to the celebrated charity of the weekend on top of what people who register also donate. So yeah, that is the welcome page. Now, as we move along into the weekend events, this is the 15th anniversary of Wine Dine Weekend overall. So that means the half marathon will be 15. So celebrating 15 years of Wine and Dine. And here this week, the events page gives you just a full rundown of all the events. Each tile takes you, to different things, of course. But as always, we're going to start at the top and work our way through this. So important information. This is just a kind of a general idea of weekend things. Just Run Disney in general, not necessarily just specific to Wine and Dine, but overall Run Disney stuff. Like right at the top here, you have costume guidelines. Those were changed a little bit just about a year ago now. So if you have any costume questions, be sure to watch the video. It gives you a rundown of what is allowed and not allowed, stuff like that. Now, start group timelines. This is a little different this year. Normally, we do not get this. We get a start group kind of idea of when they want you in the start group closed type thing. But now they are giving you a projected window of when you are going to start. So if you are an A, for example, for the 5K, you'll start between 5 and 5:05 a.m. And then so on and so forth for each group. Now, the big thing here is there are waves in each corral. So in, say, for Group D, there's going to be several waves. So the first wave is going to go off approximately at 5:18. But if you're in the third or fourth wave, you're going in the middle of this. You're going at like probably 5:25 or you know what I mean. Like there's going to be staggered, and then also these are approximations, so you may not go off exactly at this time. There's always potential for delays and stuff like that. So this is just kind of an estimate of when you are going to start to give you an idea of that. I like that Run Disney's doing this. I was alerted prior to the season start that they were going to start doing this. So it just gives you an idea of, when you're going to get going, when you, helps you too with fueling. A lot of people, like to take their last fueling before the start of the race, but they don't want to do it too close to start time. So they kind of want to space that stuff out. So it does help with that as well. So definitely check this out, especially when you get your corral assignments. To see when you may be starting. So moving along here, safety information for weather. These are the flag guidelines. Good conditions are green, obviously. Less than ideal, you're yellow. When we start getting to potentially some bad weather, you're looking at the red, and then black flag means they're pretty much going to either cancel the race or course is going to be cut significantly, stuff like that. Usually, Wine and Dine, the biggest issue with Wine and Dine is usually rain. We always, no matter what, year, it doesn't matter what, it just always seems to rain at some point during Wine and Dine weekend, whether it be the 5K, 10K, half, and or after party. One of those events is going to get rain because that's just how it happens. I don't think I've ever, this is my 5th Wine and Dine now. I've never run one where it hasn't rained. And then there's also the notorious, splash and dash where the course was shortened, stuff like that. It always seems to rain during Wine and Dine. Anyways, moving along to event waivers, just some basic information. Make sure if you have not already, you should get that signed in your Run Disney account. And then if you obviously don't do it or aren't unable, they do have paper waivers there to sign when you're at the Expo. But just make sure you get that taken care of. Expo check-in pass, which will have your bib number and everything, will be available October 28th. So be on the lookout for that as well. And you then that will, once you get to the Expo, that'll help you navigate to find which line to get in to get your bib, because it's all separated by bib number. Moving on, more on costume guidelines. We went over that a little bit earlier. This is just a little bit more in depth. Basic stuff. If you have specific questions, definitely check this out. Read through that just to make sure. Reminders, just general Run Disney reminders stuff. Nothing too crazy. Stuff. If you're new to Run Disney, obviously this is stuff you want to go through. But as a Run Disney veteran, it's all stuff we already know. But just good to go over. Flag guidelines, again, we went over that. But this is for this is more for if you want to carry a flag with you. A lot of people like to run with whether it be part of your costume or you're running with the American flag, stuff like that. This is specific guidelines for those who are carrying stuff. Can't be larger than 3x5. Poles can't be longer than 4 feet. Stuff like that. So it's all part of the costume kind of stuff. Just it's all safety. You don't want to have the flag hitting people. You don't want to strike people with the pole kind of thing. So just be mindful of that if you're going to do that. Race day information, gear bag check, food and beverage, lost and found, all basic stuff that's all standard Run Disney stuff. Nothing different here. If you are checking a bag, so when you pick up your shirts, you'll get them in a clear bag, and there will be like a white box on the front of that. So when you go to the race day, you'll take that bag and whatever you have in it to check. They'll write there will have tables with Sharpies, and you will write your bib number on that bag, and then you will take that to one of the trucks that is open. Usually for the shorter races, they don't have all of the trucks open because there's less people for those races. But then for the half marathon, all the trucks will be in use. But they'll give you a sticker that will be put on your bag with the number, and then they'll give you a sticker to put on the back of your bib with the number. That sticker will also have which truck number you're at, because it's usually they're all numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many trucks are. So it'll tell you truck number 4, and then it'll have the sticker will have a specific number too. So it's just kind of double checking everything so they make sure you get that specific bag back and someone else doesn't get it. So stuff like that. Race day etiquette. This is just kind of general running etiquette stuff. Make sure if you being polite. If you're going to get water, look around, watch, slow down when you're going to the tables, that kind of thing. Just simple, basic, common courtesy type things. Sometimes these rules are not always followed, but that's life, I guess. I mean, not everybody follows the rules, unfortunately. But just be mindful, be, courteous, stuff like that. Photopass. So If you have Photopass, this is how you will redeem your photos. You'll have these, each race has a code. So for the 5K specifically, like it's 2024 Wine D 5K, and then the X's you replace with your bib number. And so with your bib number, then you put that into, when you go into the My Disney Experience app, there'll be a link, Photopass card or code or whatever tab under Photopass, and you'll type that in, and then your photos will start to appear. You can do this prior to the race or after the race, doesn't matter. Prior to the race, obviously nothing's going to show up yet because you haven't run the race and the photos haven't been taken. And then don't panic right away either. The photos usually start showing up a few hours, sometimes they're even faster, but give it an hour or two, they'll start showing up, but you may not get all of those photos until even 24 hours after. So they just keep trickling in. So don't panic right away if, in 2 hours you don't have all your photos. They'll most likely show up, and you just got to, give it some time till each photographer goes through and all the stuff is scanned and, put in the right places. So yeah, that's Photopass. Then we have medical for the weekend is Advent Health. They are always the medical for Run Disney race weekends. Some just basic stuff there. They'll be on site, of course. Minivan advertisement, if you want to take a minivan to the races, it is available. Post-race information. Race results will be posted after the race. If you have, obviously, results, questions, stuff like that, they have a Track Shack email there for you to contact. So that is just basically the important informations tab. That takes us to the Expo now, which is one of my favorite things because it's kind of kicks off the weekend. It's a party in itself outside of the races. But Expo will start on October 31st, Thursday at 10 a.m. If you are Club Run Disney with early access, you obviously will have that. And now, just keep in mind, like always, there is no Run Disney provided transportation to those early access hours, so you do need to find your own transportation. Usually, whether it be your own car, Uber, Lyft, minivan, whatever it may be, stuff like that. So if you're Club Run Disney, just keep that in mind. If you are not Club Run Disney and planning on getting merchandise, they are utilizing the virtual queue as always. Stuff like that. So it will be, the virtual queue open up at 8:30 a.m. You have to be within, I believe, 45 miles of the Walt Disney World Resort. So want to check into that, and once you'll get a estimate or a queue, time frame, and then you can choose. You can have up to 6 people come with you in your virtual queue. So just, all that kind of stuff, which we've been, I think the virtual queue has been in effect for 2 or 3 years now. I don't know, but it's been a while. It's all kind of, standard stuff now. We're all kind of used to it. Again, event waivers, nothing different here than the important information tab. Race bib and shirt pickup. They do make sure of course, if you're running the 5K, you have to pick up your bib on October 31st. If you're running the 10K, you can pick it up the 31st or the 1st. And then if you're the half, you can pick it up any of the Expo days. But you just got to make sure you get all that stuff picked up prior to the race. There is no race day bib pickup. Now, Expo transportation. Expo transportation will begin a half hour before Expo opening each day, and then stop it a half hour after Expo close each day. So be prepared to, if you are straggling, just and you don't are utilizing Run Disney transportation, make sure you're getting on a bus at the appropriate times. This is for all Walt Disney World resorts, Swan, Dolphin, and Shades of Green. Like always, all standard, kind of, nothing too different from any past weekends. Now, this is just a map of the merchandise area. This is, again, no major changes here. They'll have an area for pre-purchased merchandise, photo opportunities. A virtual queue entrance will be outside. They'll check you in there outside the area, will be here. The virtual queue check will be right along this pathway here, this curved pathway, before you get into the arena. That's where they'll check you in. And then the other buildings will be where the other stuff is to do, but merchandise will all be in the arena in Building A there. The Athletic Center will be home to the exhibitors. They are not listed here right now, but this is where you have just a ton of booths. Usually there's a Run Disney, or this is the Run Disney showcase here, right underneath the stairs. And then this part will be all, whether it be Jeff Galloway has a booth there. Usually Bippy Body Brook has a booth there. There's Fit to Run, all these different companies that just have different stuff they're looking to show off. At the back of this is where you'll pick up your shirts, half and challenge shirts on one side, 5K and 10K shirts on the other. Obviously, if you're running the challenge, you don't have to go to both sides, unless you're also doing the 5K. But that is where shirts will be the back. And then there's a shirt exchange area in case you need to exchange shirts out. Always check your shirts before you leave. Well, it doesn't, it's not a common occurrence. There's times where sizes are wrong. They may mixed up. They may give you 2 10K shirts and, that kind of stuff. So just always check your shirts before you leave, just to make sure you got all the right ones and right sizes. And then lastly, State Farm Fieldhouse is where you pick up your bibs. They'll have challenge, half, 10K, 5K tables. At the back, there'll be photo opportunities as well, usually characters out and stuff like that. Runner relations, if you need help with your Run Disney account, stuff like that, will be there. And athletes with disabilities will also have a area there as well. So just all basic standard Run Disney stuff. No changes here to the Expo. So that takes us to the 5K, the first race of the weekend. 5K will be November 1st at 5 a.m. Again, start group times here. So all start groups will open at 3:45 in the morning. They will close at promptly beginning A at 4:45, B at 4:50, 4:55 for C, 5:25 for D, and 6 a.m. for E. Projected start times also listed there. Once you get your bibs, they'll have your start group on there. So just match that up, see what time your projected start time is, what time your corral closes, stuff like that. And then spectator viewing. Now the 5K does go into Epcot, but they only allow spectating at the start and finish areas because the park is not open. So that's the only spots you can spectate for the 5K. So if you have friends and family coming to watch you, just be sure they know that those are the only 2 spots that they can see you. Transportation-wise, they do give a time frame for transportation pre-race. For the 5K, you're looking at 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. to get you to the race. For after the race, transportation will run 6:30 to 8:30. So if you're like me and like to hang out after, be sure you get on a bus by 8:30. Unless you have a car, and you can, then hang out a little extra longer. But yeah, just make sure you get on a bus on time. There's no monorail, Skyliner, or transportation for any of these races. Typically, for the Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend and Princess, they do utilize the monorail. But this weekend there is nothing, no monorail for any of the races. So keep that in mind. There will be bus transportation for all. But yeah, so that is transportation. Again, race etiquette reminders stuff. That's all stuff we've kind of already gone over in the other areas. A snack box nutrition. Now this is a little different this year. They have added this to the event guide. Prior, they have not usually done this. So for here, they'll tell you on the 5K, there's only one water stop. There is no food stops, of course. And then they'll tell you at the end, there'll be water available, Powerade, snack box, and banana all available. And then even tells you, if you click on the snack box tab, what may be in your snack box. So these last couple years, this is basically what's been in there. So just keep that in mind, what you may be able to get. Moving along here after snack box. Again, Photopass, same stuff. I'm going to skip course for now and go into start staging first. So when you walk in, you'll walk in via the Epcot security for the regular park entrance. You'll walk along here, alongside the finish into the reunion area. This is where you hang out until the corral is open. There'll be a stage towards the front of this. And then, of course, the food and beverage tent. There's usually food trucks in here and then also food trucks inside that area as well. And then your gear check will be towards the back corner of that. After the race, transportation will be over here. And then what your start groups are all off to the left of that. This is where they'll check you before you go into, because spectators cannot go into this area. So they'll check, make sure you have a bib before entering the corral area. And then like here, this will be parking. So if you are driving, this is the parking areas. If you're taking a bus, you'll get dropped off in the normal Epcot bus area, then walk through that entrance and over to the start group area. Now, as for the course itself, let's dive in here. Now, the start is normal. We're starting in the Epcot parking lot and then taking a sharp right turn around the parking lot back into backstage. So we go into backstage back here. We go just past Test Track. Normally, we do things a little differently here, and we go under Test Track and in behind Mexico. Well, Test Track is currently under major refurbishment. So we are not doing that. We're going out past, in between Mission Space and Test Track. This is usually how we finish, but instead we're doing it at the start this time. And we're coming through on the between Connections and Creations area. Usually, again, we're going out that way, so a little different there. Then coming up that main central path into World Showcase, and we do our normal lap around World Showcase. Your water stop will be in America there. That is also normal. And then we go back into World Celebration, back through the center. Again, I don't know why they don't use updated maps, but they don't. Whatever. Go past through the center. There's usually a photographer here by the Walt statue. You can get photos with that there. And then new this time too, we are going out towards the front, in front of Spaceship Earth, just around the fountain and the planters, and then back out towards the front of Epcot, back pre-COVID and pre-Epcot construction. We always went out this front area here of Epcot, and it was always great because they always had Photopass over there, so then you kind of got the Spaceship Earth in the background. It's really great, so I'm kind of glad we're kind of getting a return to that here with this 5K. But yeah, that is the Wine and Dine 5K course themed to the Muppets, which I know a lot of people are excited about. So that takes us then into the 10K. The 10K, themed to Princess Tiana. Again, start group times, basically the same as the 5K. But again, check into that when you get your start groups for specifics. Now, spectating, they say specifically start and finish areas only. I am going to kind of preface that, or, say that's not necessarily true. When we get into the course itself, I will show you. But that is that for now. Officially, only start and finish. Transportation, again, 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., and then at the finish, 6:30 to 9 a.m. A little longer race, so they extend that a little bit. Race etiquette reminders. Now, 10K is timed. 5K is not. It's considered like a family fun race. 10K is timed, so you will have results for the 10K. Again, snack box, Photopass, start and staging, all the same for all three races, so I'm not going to go over that again. We'll show road closures, so if you're driving, keep these in mind. There are certain roads that will be closed, especially to spectators if you're driving in. keep these road closures in mind. They have specific times for when those will be closed on here. So just, be mindful of that. Now, for the course, we have the start again in the Epcot parking lot, like always. Now, I know a lot of people go back and forth on which 10K course they like better. Personally, I like this 10K course better than the one that goes into Hollywood Studios. But to each their own. Start, we do a good 2 miles all on the road outside of Epcot, all normal. They do usually have a bunch of characters along this portion to kind of keep you entertained. There's usually a band or two there as well. So it's not so bad. The reason I like this course is because you get that roadway done first. So once you're done with mile 2, you start going back into Epcot, past the Epcot bus station area. Now this is a spectating spot that I want to point out. A lot of people usually do, especially for half marathons and stuff too. They'll be lined up in here back before you get into Epcot, because again the park is closed, so there's no spectating inside Epcot. But people do go along here, and you can spectate there. That's usually open. So then we go back into Epcot behind the Land Pavilion. Come out just by imagination. We're going to do a little loop, or just by the seas, and then through World Celebration there again, through into World Showcase, past Canada and the UK, out backstage. There's a water stop there. Then we go out into the Epcot Resort area. Again, another reason I like this course is because you get the Epcot Resort area, the whole gamut of it. And again, it's another spectating spot. Now, the caveat to this spectating spot is they do have usually security and stuff out along this portion, because these are resorts and it's 5 in the morning. So they want you to be quiet. So while you can spectate there, you can't be loud, because people are sleeping at 5 in the morning. When not normal people like us who are running, but there will be plenty of spots you can spectate along the Epcot resorts there. Before you head back into World Showcase, water stop in America again. Go around the entirety of World Showcase out past the front. We do that same finish just like we did for the 5K, and that is that. So that takes us then to the final race of the weekend in the half marathon. And so let's start with transportation. Transportation does start a half hour earlier for the half marathon, 2:30 to 5 a.m. Then we go 6:30 to 10:30, so a whole hour and a half more time to catch a bus after the race. Start group times. Corrals open earlier on this day, so they'll open at 3:15. Start group close times, and then projected start times as well. So a little different for the half, because it's a bigger race, more people, longer distance. Some slight changes there. Spectating, again, I don't really understand this one, why they only say the start and finish. But again, we'll go over that in the course. I don't know, whatever. But that's Run Disney. They're really kind of, I don't know, they're the last year or two they've been very weird about spectating in many ways. But that's a different conversation. So, anyways, race etiquette reminders, results again, snack box, Photopass, all the same on all the tabs. Road closures. Now, obviously, with a longer race, there's more road closures because we're using more space. So, again, if you are driving or spectating, keep those in mind race morning. And then for the course itself. Now, this course is basically exactly the same as last year's course. And then if you have run the springtime 10 miler, this is basically exactly the same as that, plus a 5K added. The downside of that 5K added, it's all on the road. So that's my biggest negative to this course, I suppose, would be that it's literally a lot of road. But hey, we make the most of it. going into it again, starting in the Epcot parking lot. Then we are taking that roadway down back into Epcot backstage. We do go underneath Test Track this time for this one, back in between Mexico and Norway there, and around World Showcase, Water Stop in America. We go then out World Showcase back between the UK and Canada, and down around the boardwalk portion of the Epcot resorts. And we take that pathway between Epcot and Hollywood Studios. Now this, because it's early in the race, this does get congested, especially if you are towards the back of the corrals. This is a bottleneck. So keep that in mind. Why they do it this way, I don't know. I think if they essentially flipped this course and did the roadway stuff first and then the parks at the end, I think that would help alleviate some of the congestion. But they don't do it that way, so whatever. But then we go into Hollywood Studios and we do basically all of Hollywood Studios. Enter through just to the side of the main entrance, and then we go through around Echo Lake, past Star Tours, into Galaxy's Edge, through Toy Story Land, back out towards the front, in front of the Chinese Theater, and then back out down Sunset Boulevard, past the Tower of Terror, and back out of the park. Always a ton of characters in Hollywood Studios, so it's a great opportunity for photo stops and stuff like that before you hit the roadway, and we do a lot of roadway. That is the biggest negative I have about this course, is a lot of roads. It's a lot of roads. But we will make do. We go past Coronado Springs, we go past Blizzard Beach, but hey, we don't have to do the parking lot, so gotta look for the positives. Then we go past, or like I said, past Blizzard Beach. Then we do basically where this is like an on-ramp over here, that we go up back towards as we make our way back towards Epcot. The downside to this area over here is it's always like directly in the sun, so there's no shade. You're directly in the sun as the sun's just came up, and it is November, so it's not, sometimes it can get cold, but Florida is not notorious for being cold. So it's probably going to be warm. So it gets hot, and we're already just slogging our way down roads. So, again, keep it in mind. Just not everything, while every mile may be magic, it's not always magic. And we have our food stop here, just past mile 8. Historically, it is sports beans. Sometimes it's been like the honey stinger chews, but more often than not, it is sports beans. So that is what I would expect again, but who knows? They may surprise us. And then back just along the road to an on-ramp. Everybody loves the on-ramps. And back towards Epcot, again, in the sun, slogging our way back through into past the bus area. Again, spectating spot here. Spectating spot. I forgot to mention too, boardwalk spectating spot. Now, there's really nowhere along these areas that you can spectate. Sometimes people do come out near Coronado Springs. Disney security, again, is kind of weird about that sometimes, so keep it in mind. May not be a good option. But again, spectating up here by the bus stops before you go into the park. We do a small portion. We do in just around World Celebration area. Just pop in towards World Showcase, pop back out between Connections and Creations, past Mission Space and Test Track, around behind Guardians, and then to the finish. So if you've ran last year, 97% of this course is exactly the same. So, yeah. And like I said, too, if you run springtime, again, very, very, very similar. So, yeah, that is the half marathon course for 2024. I just want to pop in here. I don't, does not, it just says one food stop. Sometimes they list it in here, sometimes they don't. I don't know why they don't list it in here. You think that would be beneficial information, but yeah, so food stop, like I said, more often than not is sports beans, so keep that in mind. The other big thing about this weekend is the only weekend with an after party. So a post-race party will take place at Epcot on Sunday from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Several attractions will be available, including Soarin', Spaceship Earth, Frozen, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, Guardians of the Galaxy. So, and kind of the cool thing about the Guardians is they don't utilize a virtual queue for the after party, so it's all standby. So get in line and see if you can ride. The food booths for food and wine will be open as well. You do get if you are running the half or the challenge, you get a $15 gift card. It's not a normal gift card because it does have an expiration date, but definitely use that, whether it be earlier in the weekend or at the party. Definitely use that before you leave. They'll have a special jumbo pin available at the Creation Shop at 7 p.m. You can get into Epcot as early as 5 o'clock with your party ticket. Again, if you are a half marathon or challenge participant, you get entry into the party included. Otherwise, anyone else has to buy a ticket to the party to attend. They will also have a specialty drink for the party called the Berry Blitz. We'll see how that is. I'm sure I will give it a try. Important information, nothing too crazy. Again, just notes the promo card, the gift card that you get. And so check-in areas, if you are in the park already, they will have a check-in area in World Celebration between connections and creations. And then you'll get a wristband. That wristband must stay on because then once the party starts, they'll be checking for that in order for you to stay in Epcot. Because if you are not supposed to be there, they'll ask you to leave. And then, of course, at the entrances to the park, so at International Gateway and in the front of the park, they'll have check-in areas as well for the party. And then there is another spot inside the park if you are already in Epcot between the UK and Canada pavilions where you can check in as well. So just keep that in mind if you are coming to the party. And then lastly, transportation for the party. No monorails or Skyliner again, but they will have buses that will run until 2:30 in the morning. So you have plenty of time to catch a bus after the 1 a.m. close. And then, of course, if you're staying at an Epcot resort, you can just walk out the back to International Gateway. That's one pro tip. I always try to stay for wine and dine at an Epcot resort, so I don't have to worry about transportation. I can just walk right out. I will be at the Walt Disney World Dolphin for this one, because that's just convenience. But otherwise, the rest of the page, again, they have a featured tab for Second Harvest Food Bank, the featured charity. They are doing, once again, 50% off water park tickets. So if you want to take a day and go over to water park during the weekend, you can get a 50% off a water park ticket for you and up to 4 guests. So you can buy that at the Expo. You can buy that at the water parks themselves. You just have to show proof of being a runner. So that's bib or medal, typically, that you can take to show that. Yeah, and then there is a list of Disney Springs discounts. So, for example, like you can get 10% off Chef Art Smith's Homecoming, Planet in Hollywood, Rainforest Cafe. There's some merchandise places you can get discounts at as well. And then you can save on tickets at Cirque du Soleil, Drawn to Life. Again, you have to show your bib or your medal in order to receive those discounts. So yeah, just keep that in mind as well. And then the rest of it is just basically advertisements. They just kind of showcase sponsors and stuff. A lot of these companies will all be at the Expo. You can check them out there. So that's just that kind of basic stuff. So there's really nothing else to the event guide. I hope that gives you a general idea of what to expect, what, the weekend is all about, that kind of stuff. I will be there for the entirety, all 3 races, plus Mickey's Not So Scary, plus Halloween Horror Nights. So it's going to be a busy weekend, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Excited to see friends, get back to Run Disney once again for another year. So yeah, we'll see you there. Hope to see you. Definitely, if you see me out and about, whether it be at the Expo, parks, races, say hi. Definitely excited to be back because I missed out on Halloween weekend, and it's been a long time since springtime. So we're all eager to get back to that Run Disney lifestyle that we love to live. But yeah, we'll see you there.